Try booking a room here yourself. You won't find a price list or real-time availability. You'll find a contact form and a long wait, then a polite refusal if you're not quite the right kind of guest. A pop star didn't need the form. He canceled nothing, rescheduled nothing. He simply vanished, flown into a valley with no cell signal, no restaurant for 100 miles, and no name on any public map, in a country most of his fans couldn't find on a globe. Justin Bieber called it the best trip of his life. He wasn't running from fans. He was paying for something almost no one on earth can still buy, to disappear completely, for real, with nobody able to find him even if they tried. 13 rooms, 75 staff, one converted sheep farm at the edge of the Arctic Circle, a nightly rate that can climb past 6 figures. This is the story of a hotel built around a single idea. That real isolation, not the marketing kind, is now the most expensive luxury on the planet. You'd assume a $5,000 room means marble floors, a rooftop bar, maybe a skyline view. That's what 100 years of luxury travel has trained us to expect. Location, a room close enough to the runway and the red carpet to matter. But this property sits nowhere near a city. It isn't close to an airport. It isn't close to anything. That's not a flaw in the business plan. It is the business plan. Imagine building an entire hotel around the one thing every other hotel tries to fix: distance, and then charging more for it, not less. Every hospitality textbook says proximity sells rooms. This place bet its entire existence on the opposite theory, and won. So here's the real question worth asking. If the ultra-wealthy can buy almost anything on Earth, private islands or a seat on a rocket, what's left that money alone can't get you? What's so rare that a billionaire has to fly for hours, then drive for hours more, just to touch it? To understand why, go back further than the hotel itself. This building was a working sheep farm from the 1500s until 2016, nearly 5 centuries of wool and weather and nothing else. Then, a man named Chad Pike bought it. Pike wasn't a hotelier. He was a former partner at BlackRock, one of the largest investment firms on the planet, and in 2011, he built a company called 11 on a strange bet that the richest people alive were bored of 5-star. They wanted something 5-star couldn't fake: total remoteness. Pike understood that scarcity, not comfort, is what actually moves a market once comfort is assumed as standard. Think of it like a private beach, with the ocean removed and the silence kept. No road noise, no other guests, unless you brought them yourself. No skyline, because there is no city for 400 kilometers in any direction. The farm sits in the Fljót Valley, on Iceland's Troll Peninsula, almost at the edge of the Arctic Circle, where the ground itself runs hot. Drill down far enough here and you hit geothermal water, heated by the same volcanic activity that shapes the whole island, which is why the property's pool never ices over, even when the air outside drops well below freezing. Older reviews count 16 rooms. The property lists 13 today. Renovations blur the exact number, and even the staff don't always agree on it. What's certain is the shape of it: black timber walls and a living, grass-covered roof, built so the hotel nearly disappears into the hillside it sits on. Every stay is full board. Every stay comes with guides. Heli skiing in winter, sea kayaking, and whale watching once the ice breaks. There's even a private recording studio on site, Fljót Studios, built for a founder who loves music enough to keep a full band set up in the lounge. A spa with flotation tanks, where guests lie back in salt water and simply float. The nearest real town, Siglufjörður, is 45 minutes down the valley, a former herring fishing port so quiet and so easily cut off by snow that Icelandic filmmakers once used it as the backdrop for a crime drama about a village trapped by a storm. They didn't have to fake much. On paper, all of this reads like any other luxury lodge. The difference is what it took to get there and what that isolation was quietly built to protect. On paper, remote luxury sounds simple to build. Buy land nobody wants, put up this building, charge a premium for the view. But the reality of actually reaching Deplar Farm breaks that assumption almost immediately. The nearest real airport, Akureyri, sits 150 kilometers away, roughly 90 minutes by car on a good day. Far longer once winter ice takes the roads. Reykjavik, the capital, is over 400 kilometers off. 5 hours by car, more if the weather turns against you. There's a small regional airstrip 45 minutes from the property, but flights are limited and seats are few, useless unless a guest happens to own a plane. For guests who can afford it, a helicopter swaps that 6-hour drive for well under an hour in the air, but only when the weather allows it. And in this valley, weather rarely asks permission. Wind can ground a helicopter that a car could still push through, and ice can close a road that a helicopter would clear in minutes. So most guests do exactly what an ordinary backpacker would do. They rent a car for 6 hours through terrain that empties out fast. Fewer towns, fewer cars. Then, eventually, none at all. Just black rock, white snow, and a road that seems to lead nowhere in particular. Somewhere past the halfway mark, the phone signal drops out completely, and a guest worth 9 figures becomes simply unreachable, the same as anyone else on that road. A single storm can close the only route through for hours at a time, with no way around it. It didn't matter how much the room cost, the mountain still had to be crossed the slow way. And that single detail, the fact that money cannot shortcut the journey, is exactly where this story stops being about a hotel. 3 problems compound fast once you actually try to run a business like this. Problem 1, staffing. A hotel this size, this far from anywhere, can't lean on a nearby town for workers. Deplar Farm keeps roughly 75 people on site for as few as 13 rooms. Close to 4 employees for every guest sleeping there, where most 5-star hotels elsewhere run 1 staff member per 2 or 3 guests. Every one of those 75 people also needs somewhere to sleep, since there's no town nearby to commute from each morning. The operating math ends up looking less like a boutique hotel and more like a remote mining camp, just with turn-down service instead of hard hats. Problem 2, the price has to cover everything a normal resort gets for free. Every vegetable, every bottle behind the bar has to travel that same 6-hour road, in trucks built for it, through weather that slows tourists to a crawl. Rates have run from around $2,700 a night in low season to over $5,000 at peak, and buying out the entire lodge for a private group has been quoted north of $100,000 a night, more than most people will earn across several years of ordinary work. Problem 3, and this is the one most guests don't think about until they're in it: rescue distance. When a helicopter drops skiers onto an unmarked slope near the Arctic Circle, the nearest hospital isn't 15 minutes away like it would be in the Alps. A twisted knee here isn't an inconvenience, it's a logistics operation, a helicopter, and a guide pulled off schedule immediately, the rest of the day's plans scrapped, and every other guest on the mountain left waiting on the same radio channel for news. Then, in May of 2025, all 3 problems collided in the most public way possible. Justin Bieber, a man who fills stadiums across 6 continents, flew in, checked into Fljót Studios, and stayed for a week. No red carpet, no entourage of photographers, just snow, just silence. A guitar leaning in the corner of the room. When he left, he posted one line to millions of followers: the best trip of his life, not the biggest tour stop, not the most luxurious hotel he'd ever seen. The best. Here's what should surprise you. Everyone assumes a place like this sells scenery, glaciers, fjords, the northern lights flickering over a geothermal pool at midnight, and it does deliver all of that. But guest after guest, asked what they actually paid for, gives the same answer, and it has nothing to do with the view. They say it's the fact that nobody else is there. Not hardly anyone. Nobody. No other paying guests, unless their own group booked every room in the place. No staff turnover to relearn your name from a spreadsheet. The same 75 people working there last season are still there this one, and they remember exactly how you take your coffee before you've asked for it twice. One frequent guest, someone who has spent a career organizing corporate events, put it plainly in a comment left on the property online. The food, the spa, none of that is actually what you're buying. What you're buying is the absence of everyone else. In an age where any billionaire can charter a private jet or buy an entire island, none of that guarantees quiet. A private island still has a dock and a flight path someone can track. A city penthouse still has neighbors, doormen, a paparazzi lens across the street. This valley has none of it. That's the twist sitting inside a converted sheep farm in northern Iceland. The one luxury nobody had claimed yet wasn't a thing at all. It was an absence, sold 13 rooms at a time, and it explains, better than any spa or any view could, exactly why a pop star with nothing left to prove flew this far just to sit in a room and play guitar. Deplar Farm isn't alone anymore. 11, the company behind it, has quietly built matching hideaways, a cat skiing lodge outside Crested Butte, Colorado, a French Alps chalet, and further south, a retreat in Patagonia, each one built on the same bet that true remoteness now sells better than any 5-star amenity ever could. And the guest list keeps proving the bet right. Just weeks before this video was made, Icelandic state broadcaster RÚV confirmed that Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner had quietly landed in Akureyri and continued north toward the very same valley on a trip officials described only as private. Just a name on a flight manifest, and a valley that swallowed it whole. Which raises an uncomfortable question for the rest of us. As the world gets more connected, more tracked, more visible, more reachable every single year, does privacy itself become the one luxury only the wealthy can still afford? Or is there a version of that same quiet, somewhere closer, somewhere cheaper, somewhere none of us has thought to look for yet? If you want to uncover the truth of history. Please subscribe, new video publish in this channel. Stay tuned. Stay informative. Thank you for watching.